Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today's topic is going to be friend zones. Before we get into it, please like, subscribe, and share. Thank you. So anyway, today's topic is friend zone. So when I think of friend zoning someone, you know, the word friend is the number one thing here, friend. you know, everybody, not everybody, but a lot of people are looking for a life partner, someone to grow with, um, someone to love, and someone to love you. And a friend, at the, you want your lover to be your best friend. Your lover, your mate should be your best friend. You know, when you're talking about a lifetime partner, it's not about sex and shallow, insignificant things. You need to be grounded. You need to have a real foundation to have anything that's built to last. It has to have a good foundation, and of course, trust should be the first layer of any healthy relationship. So when you think about friend, on any level, because an associate is not a friend, an acquaintance is not a friend. A friend is someone you can talk to and be yourself with. A friend is somebody that you share, just milestones in your life. It could just be something as simple as you just got a raise on your job, or you just got a new job, or something good happened. What's the first thing we do? We call and tell our friend. You're excited. You might call your mom or what have you, especially if other people are close to their parents. But people call and tell their friends. Um, so when you talk about friend zoning somebody, it's funny. You know, just throughout life, and just being observant as I am, I see that a lot of people will friend zone. Men and women do it. They'll friend zone somebody who is truly maybe even wife or husband material. Somebody who should be at the front of the line is over here in the friend zone. They're not even in the race, so to speak, not as far as having an intimate relationship and growing as a life partner. It's like they're not even in the race. And then when we're in these relationships, maybe like, let me give an example. There's a lot of people, men and women, both do it. People seem to want the one who don't want them. When you're talking about being in a long-term relationship, or vetting someone, from you would hope to think that people are dating intentionally. Life is too short and time goes by too fast, to really be wasting time. We have to be deliberate. You have to do things with intention. When we're young, we're just going with the flow. We're thinking like a child, so to speak, or we're not really thinking at all. We're just living in the moment. And, we're dating, but we're not really dating with intention. Some people, they might even, people use people as a pastime. People have people on the back burner. There's people who, they're dating, some people are serial daters, or even back before they called it that, there was people who had maybe two or three people they was talking to. They had somebody they really liked, and then the person who really liked them was always on the back burner while they out here chasing this person. The one you really want, not all the time, but most times in our life, we all experience it, where the one we really want is the very one who don't want us. And it's sad but true. Sometimes when people know that somebody loves them, wants them, you know who likes you. Everybody know who loves them. Everybody know who's digging them. Come on now. And sometimes it's flattering, but the sad part is lots of times when you're liking somebody who's not liking you back, or they like you, but they don't like you as much as you like them, sometimes when we see that and we continue to pursue somebody who ain't really pursuing you, they're really, you've been friend zoned. You don't even realize it, but you've been friend zoned. But I wouldn't even call it friend zone, because you put yourself in a whole nother lane. And even the friend lane, it's the lane of being used or misused. Because sometimes when people know that somebody care about them, they take the person for granted. You open yourself up to be used. Maybe you're trying to show this person that you are a good catch. And you're showing them that when they need you, you'll be there, and things of that nature. You're doing all this giving, and they're throwing you a couple breadcrumbs when the person they want ain't available, or maybe they ain't got off work yet, or whoever they chasing ain't called them. Now all of a sudden they dialing your number, or just whatever. It could be a million and one things. But sometimes we open ourselves up to be used when we're chasing somebody, or we want somebody who don't want you back. And I'm not pushing, want the one who wants you. But yes, I do if I want somebody, I want them to want me back. If I give somebody a hug, I want them to hug me back. It's called reciprocity. It can't be one giving and the other one ain't doing nothing but taking. But the one you got in the friend zone is just that, a friend. Somebody who was probably a good friend because, number one, they respect you. They respect you. When you need them, they're there. And why we have to stop this as human beings as a whole. And we've all been guilty, even if we can even use our own family. Sad to say, it can even be our own parents. Some people have very good parents who is always bailing them out, always doing everything for them. It could be a friend, it don't even got to be a lover. It could be your sister or brother, whoever. We all got somebody who love us, and we take them for granted. I mean, that's just not, we can love them too, but we still could take the people who really love us and we know they're going to forgive us. And it's not, that's just the nature of man. Sometimes we do take the people who love us for granted. But what I'm trying to say is this: the person that you have in the friend zone, we need to evaluate some things, and we need to look at things from a more mature lens. And we need to think, well, you know what? This is the person who I can depend on. This is the person when something special was happening in my life, or I'm excited about something. This is my number one cheerleader, or this is the person who edifies me. This is the person who brings things out of me that I didn't even know I had in me. Maybe I was thinking too small, and they was able to see it from a different perspective, and they're always planting seeds. They're always helping me to see something in a different light. Maybe they're optimistic wherever I'm concerned, because they love you and they care for you, and they're always trying to pull out little by little. They're pulling the best out of you. And you're thankful, and you're like, well, you're my friend. That's what friends do for each other. Yeah, that is what friends do for each other. But how many of your other girlfriends, or even your boy, is edifying you, or telling you, you know what, man, you can do it. You one of the smartest people I know. If you put your head to it, I know you can do it. Or do this and do that, and wanting to see you rise, wanting to see you elevate. Even sometimes a supposed to be friend, a lot of friends are really frenemies. I'm old school. So, a lot of people you around, they frenemies if anything. They don't want to see you go up too high, because they don't want you to surpass them. But you got somebody who wants the best for you and willing to help bring out the best out of you. And if you had any type of endeavor, maybe you're trying to go to school, they would be the one to help you with your homework. If they knew the material and they could help you, they would. Or if they might encourage you, or just whatever. They're willing to help you come up, help you rise, because they really care. But that person, why wouldn't you want to have somebody who was your mate and your lover and your friend who was really a friend? It has to be more than just the superficial. It has to be more than, this person looks good, this person is sexy. It got to be more than lust. when you're talking the lust of the ass. Yes, you want your mate to be the person in the friend zone could be nice looking. They just might not be your type. Everything don't float everybody's boat. Maybe somebody might like somebody because they slick and witty. They got a smart mouth. They always got a good comeback. I'm going to tell you the truth. Most people who got that slick tongue and that good that slick tongue and that witty spirit and the fast comeback to turn you on and makes your boat float real fast. You know what I mean? It's like you got a canoe and you didn't put a motor in it because they just do it for you like that. The truth of the matter is that person is so witty and they always got a quick comeback and a smart mouth and this and that. They're jazzy because they really don't want you. It's easy to be that way with the person I really don't want. Then they get somebody that they like and they are soft as a cotton ball. They ain't speaking up so witty. Now they're shy, they're bashful. They move totally different. And it may seem like, the way somebody is with one person doesn't mean that's the way that they're going to be with someone else. Or the way somebody was with this person, it doesn't mean that they're going to be that way with you. You know what I mean? Everybody is different and people like people for different reasons. You know what I mean? But sometimes the reason why, they're witty and they got that slick tongue and this and that, and they treating you, it's like they seem like they're hard to get and they seem like a challenge. The truth of the matter is, it's more of a challenge than you'll ever know. The reason why it's such a challenge is because they really don't want you. They're not really playing hard to get. They know they're not giving themselves to you. They don't want you. They'll drag you along because they like the validation. They like the attention. But there is nothing real substantial and worth having ain't going to come out of it. It ain't going to come out of it. They probably want somebody else who don't want them. And when they with that person, they're totally different. Because they're just like the same thing you're doing for them, they're doing for the other person. You know what I mean? They're not as witty or they're not as this and that. They're what they're doing is they're molding themselves to be into this other person's they're following that person's lead. When that person plants seeds, they want to be what that other person wants them to be, the person that they want. It's easy to, even when you talk about friend zoning somebody, people don't realize too, it's another sad injustice. Like, I ain't gonna call it injustice, that's the wrong word, but it's sad too that you might think, oh, I like so and so, I can be myself with them. You can, sometimes I've heard people say, oh, I could be myself with this person, and I don't want to use, to the point where they show, they're very vulnerable, they show their vulnerability. They got they wide open with this person and they're really being themselves, and maybe to a fault. And the reason why I say it's to a fault is because I'm gonna put this out here because you never know, somebody else may be going through it too, or went through it. I thought about something with a friend, a girlfriend of mine, and the guy who really liked her. And she was like, oh, I like him as a friend, but he's kind of like a turnoff. I said, oh, wow, what happened? And she said, somebody said, yeah, well, he probably felt like he could really be a self with you or whatever. She was like, yeah, but he gives too much information. He don't got to tell her, well, person don't got to know all your finances. They ain't got to know what you make, and they ain't got to know, well, what, I really can't do this right now, because pretty much letting her know he was robbing Peter to pay Paul and this and that. Now, I'm a mature woman. I'm not even going to laugh at it because it's not a game. Like, I'm grown and I think grown. Maybe I've always acted like I always was, I was always mature even as a young child. I can look at it objectively, but being mature, I can see it too. Like, he gave her more credit than what was due. And what I mean by that is that she wasn't feeling him the way he was feeling her. And he showed his nakedness. You don't have to let your left hand know what your right hand's doing. For one, it's very unwise. No wise man, anybody with any type of discernment and common sense, and I realized it a long time ago, common sense ain't so common. And I don't like to say that, nobody's stupid or dumb. We're all learning. And we're all life learners. It's as simple as that. But people got to learn to move in silence. People talk too much, people tell too much, people expose too much, and people are judgmental, and people can be critical, and they would not have known that if you would not have told. Your own tongue has testified against thee. Because you keep just running your mouth, telling too much. You don't know this person. You're getting to know somebody. You're getting to know somebody. It takes a very, 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 very long time to really get to really know somebody. You could have been knowing somebody all your life, and something happened like, wow, I didn't even see that coming, or I wouldn't. You know what I mean? You don't got to tell everybody everything. I see in this new era, this generation, and I can't even say just generation, because people are just following suit. People don't stand for nothing. I mean, but I'm going on a tangent. I'm just going to leave that alone, because that's for a whole nother show. But the point that I'm making is this. He felt so comfortable because he liked her, and he misunderstood. He was thinking she liked him as much as he liked her. And he was letting her know all his business. Oh, well, no, I can't do it this time because I got to pay this. My next check is my free check. Just too much. Just saying too much. But let me just say one thing, just real quick. The reason why I brought it up, I'll tell you where it's relevant. If she cared about him, if he was that dude in her eyes, and she was attracted to him, and she was liking him, it wouldn't have been no big deal. Well, yeah, it would have been, he's responsible. Yeah, he probably got a savings, but he got kids. He's saving up for his future. He got plans. You know what I mean? He's a man with, blah, blah. It would have went a whole nother way if she was liking him. The one who she's chasing, who don't want her, if he would have ran that same line, it would have been justifiable. The bottom line is, when somebody like you, you can't do no wrong. People can always find a way to justify themselves and people that they like. If they on your team, they'll justify anything you do. But if you don't like somebody, they can't win for losing. They damned if they do, they damned if they don't. Because you don't like this person, no matter, they can't win. They can't win. You know what I mean? You've already wrote them off. You already thinking the worst of them. You know what I mean? But if it's somebody you like, there's always an excuse. There's always a justification. Oh, it's not so bad because you like this person or whatever. But if it ain't somebody you like, they could do the same thing the person you like did, and it's perceived in two different ways. People are biased. People do show partiality all the time. You see it in families, friends. You see it on the jobs. Life is unfair. It's just the way it is. So with that being said, really think about it when you think about friend zoning somebody. Try to be objective for yourself. This is not for this ain't for the other person, but this is for you. You can't, you don't have to like somebody because they like you. And you don't have to, if you don't like them, you don't like them. I get that. But sometimes, all I'm saying is just be open to give somebody a chance. Why is this think about it. Why is this person in the friend zone? And why is it that the one who's your friend is always the one you can depend on most of the time? And you might say, well, they being a friend because they know they really want me too. Yeah, they probably do want you. And the sad part about that is, that they really want you, or they may have even mentioned to you, I would love to be your man, or, I love you. Or they might even say, well, some people's bold. I've been liking you, but why don't you give me a chance? And you might say, well, I don't really see you like that or whatever, So this person's in a friend zone, but there's somebody you can depend on, rely on. Your car, you get broke down somewhere. Because let me tell you something, it can even be a family member. Everybody ain't jumping out of their bed to come get you or do this and that, or they want to see if you could do all these options first, and then if they don't, try to call so and so. If they don't come through, they don't really want to do it. Okay, this person gonna jump out of their bed to come help you. The person who's doing everything for you, yeah, they're doing it because they like you. If you don't like the person, don't all of, if you don't like the person you put in the friend zone, I understand that, yeah, friends help each other out, but friends don't use friends. Friends don't use friends. Just because you know somebody like you don't, or it's because you can, don't mean you should. Just because you know this person like you don't mean you should use and abuse them. But the person you digging, they wouldn't even do half of the things that this person is doing for you, and you even having sex with him. You having sex with him. You broke down and called. He laid up with somebody else. He ain't even answering his phone. You done went to voicemail, or nowadays people's texting, so the bottom line, you texting, you ain't getting no response. But now you calling the guy who's in the friend zone. He's the one coming to help you out. But this one is laying up with some other chick. You know what I mean? You gotta wait. He what you call it when he flipping and flopping quite a few. You ain't his bottom chick. You ain't his bottom line. You ain't his wife. You ain't his girl. You just one of many. But you're giving him all your time, attention, your body probably, and everything else to somebody who's not even worthy of you. And people do that when they don't know their own value. You done sold yourself for naught. You sold yourself for nothing. You gave away your goods, your body. And people might say, oh, your body, you only get one life. Your body is your life. You lose that body, you're dead. You're gone. You're out of here. You can get more money. You can't get another life. So yes, your body is something that is very valuable. Your body, your life, time and life are one and the same. That's like when you look at a milk carton or cheese or whatever, things expire. People also expire. So your body is something very precious, and it's something that you're supposed to take care of, and something that you're supposed to cherish. Because that's why people want to eat healthy and things like that, to prolong life. You're eating healthy. You're keeping yourself healthy to prolong your life. Giving yourself away to somebody who doesn't deserve you, who's unworthy of you, who may not even respect you. They may not care if they hurt you, burn you, or whatever, because they don't care about you. And when you keep trying to give yourself to somebody who don't want you, who don't care about you, who's just using you or playing with you, or using you to just, to build their ego, you're losing. You're losing. And you got this person over here in the friend zone who respects you, respects your feelings, respects your body, respects your boundaries that you probably don't even have. You probably don't even know your own value. They see more in you than you see in yourself. I've seen that too. Because if you were as high, if you knew your value and you knew your true worth, you wouldn't move the way you move. A person who values themselves and knows their worth, they move a little bit different than somebody who, you can talk the talk, but if you ain't walking it, it don't mean nothing. Actions will always speak louder than anything somebody could ever say. People who move in silence, their action speaks for them. You can see it. And like you said, everybody don't let their left hand know what their right hand's doing, but you just know. Talk has always been, talk is good. But if you're talking the right stuff and you're building people up and you're edifying people, and think about it, when you're in school, you're having a lecture or this, that, and the third. So talk is good. Faith comes by hearing, and hearing, by the word of God. So yes, hearing something is how we learn. But all I'm saying is you gotta not just be a hearer of the word, you gotta be a doer also. Know how to take instruction, know how to move smart. And the thing is, even if somebody is in a friend zone and you really don't want this person, don't use them. Don't mistreat or misuse them. You know what I mean? Don't take from them. Or they're doing something, like, don't, be like, for one, a real decent person If you know somebody like you and you don't like them, me personally, I don't even want nothing from you. I don't even want to give you no inclination or no false hope that I don't see you in that way. I respect you as a person, but no, you don't have to do that for me. They would be the last person I would call if I called them at all. Because I have friends and most of our family that loves and cares about me, so I probably wouldn't have to do that. And then, sometimes people want you to call. They wanna be needed. They want you to know that, nah, I'm good. Because you don't want to give them that false hope. But the point of being friends, the point of this was about being friend zones. I hope that, this was helpful. Your mate is supposed to be number one, your friend. Somebody you can trust. Somebody who cares about your feelings. Someone who cares about just little things. They consider you. They care about how your day went. You're going for a new job or you're going for a promotion on your job. You know what I mean? They want to see you get it. They're giving you the encouragement and whatever you need. Even though you may encourage yourself, but it's nice to know that somebody believes in you. Especially somebody you care about. Y'all should be doing iron sharpens iron. People who care about each other, we help each other. We build each other up. You know what I mean? I'm good in math, you're good in science. You know what I mean? This is my strong point, this is your weak point. But where you're not as strong, I'm very strong. I'll help you with that. I got you. Those are the people you want on your team. You know what I mean? Not somebody who's just taking. They ain't making no deposits, but constantly coming taking withdrawals. They're in the way. And you're allowing this because you don't know your value and your worth. Anybody who don't want me, they look better gone. You can't make nobody want you. You can't make nobody love you, even the person in the friend zone. And a good friend would be like, you know what, you need to move on and try to find a woman or a man who would really appreciate you. You're a good man or you're a good girl. We got to stop being so selfish. But before we put somebody in the friend zone, we need to reevaluate and think it through. You know what I mean? Why are they in the friend zone? Is this a person that I could see myself with? And let me say one last thing before I let you go. Lots of times people be so hurt and so bitter because they feel like I've been dogged. I really liked her and she did me dirty. Women ain't nothing, men ain't nothing. Men ain't nothing but dogs. Women ain't this, men ain't that. I'm gonna tell you the honest truth. It was the people that you chose. It was the decision you made. And because you chose the wrong man or the wrong woman, the one you knew in your heart you had to like flip over. You knew they didn't really love you the way you love them. And you thought because you do this, and this that you can make them love you. You can't make somebody love you. Why is it that when you date in more than one person, why is one in the friend zone and one isn't? There's something about that person who ain't in the friend zone that just do it for you. You don't know why. Sometimes you just don't know who you gonna love. That's why you shouldn't even entertain somebody that you can't see yourself with in the long run. Because you just never know who you might fall in love with. You know what? Years ago, just real quick. Years ago, and I mean, I was matter of fact, I was in high school, and I had a friend, and she would only like guys who were like in the scholars class, and guys that were like really smart, and it looked like they was going to one. She would try to see like who looked like they might be going off to college, or just like, or older men who she thought had something. It was just like always somebody who had something. I ain't gonna even give her all that. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I was trying to just put it in a nice way. She would look at that, but she would also look at people making fast money and things like that. But the bottom line is this, to make a long story short. She felt like, why give, and I just didn't understand it. I ain't gonna lie, I was a young girl. I was a kid, I was a teenager. But she said to me, I'm thinking, she would say, why would you even give a broke man a chance? a broke man, we're kids. I mean, like, I looked at it like we're teenagers, like we're just, I wasn't looking like a husband or whatever at that time. You know what I mean? I never heard her say about getting married or whatever. But she still didn't want somebody that was broke. She would even go to somebody who was a little bit older, that, that was older than her, because it looked like they had a couple dollars or whatever. And if you wasn't somebody who looked like they had a couple dollars, they wasn't no call. A lot of them was getting fast money and things like that. Where I didn't really think like that. I thought, well, this person is nice. I like them, and it wasn't about nobody being broke. We was all kids in my eyes. You understand what I'm saying? We wasn't in college. We was in high school. You know what I mean? And secondly, if you thinking about being with somebody, I'm okay with, but back in the day, they would call the person who was making a good grades and this, that, and the third, they would call them a lame. If you wasn't talking all slick and supposed to be over happing out in the streets or whatever, you wasn't in with the in crowd, you was a lame. Let's keep it real. They called them guys a lame. Because maybe they was working at McDonald's, and maybe, they wasn't hanging with the what's supposed to be the in crowd. And don't get me wrong, I was always very popular, but I was always exposed, and I was always versatile. Like, I was friends with all nationality of people. I had white friends. I had Indian, because where I lived at, I always lived in a well, I ain't gonna lie, there was times we was only black family, but the bottom line is, I've always been exposed. So I've always had friends from different economical, just economically exposed and racially exposed. So I looked at life from a whole different perspective. I didn't think somebody was a lame because they wasn't hanging with the in crowd, or they wasn't moving real fast. You know what I mean? Even though I was with the fast crowd at times too. You know what I mean? But I could be cool with a lot of different people, and I've always been that way. You know what I mean? But she always thought, like, why would you even give somebody who ain't got no money? Like, because you never know who you might fall in love with. So I'm only going to have these people around me. So if I do fall in love, because you don't know who you might fall in love with, I'm going to make sure I don't fall in love with no broke nigga or no broke man. God forgive me. Let me take that part out. I didn't mean to say that, but that was the verbiage she would use. I don't use that type of thing, but I was just thinking what she would say. But I just never, I'm like, but you don't know who you will fall in love with. So let's spend time with people of a high caliber. When you think of value, every human being is high value. Everybody's life matter. Everybody brings something to the world. Everybody brings something to the world. Everything on this earth was made for a purpose. Even color, we might see colors and we might see red, this, that, and the third, all the flowers, they represent something. They're there for a purpose. Each, certain insects gravitate to certain color flowers for different, tasks, and everything has a purpose. There's a purpose for everything under the sun. Everybody is of great value, whether you're rich, whether you're middle class, whether you're struggling, whether you're whatever. And the bottom line, and the one thing that we got to remember, what's up can only come down, and what's down can only come up, and everybody gets a turn. Write nobody off. Judge nothing or nobody before the time, because there was a lot of people who may have been struggling, and then they got their big break and they went from rags to riches. And there's people who went from rags to riches and back down to rags, and there's people who was up and had riches and lost their fortunes. You understand what I'm saying? So don't knock nobody or judge nobody before the time, because as long as they're living, you don't know what tomorrow brings. You can be alive today and be dead in the same day. You can go out not knowing and get in a car accident that day and lose your life, and you're gone forever. You know what I mean? You don't know what tomorrow, even what the day brings. Judge nothing or nobody before the time. There's a lot of people, especially when you're talking about in the hip hop and even a lot of different singers and artists and things like that. A lot of them came up with very humble beginnings. And a lot of these people are millionaires, multimillionaires, even billionaires now. Even Oprah Winfrey. Yeah, Oprah. She even said that, she was very poor as a child and her family and everything, and now she's a billionaire. You know what I mean? When she was in high school, she was a regular high schooler. She didn't have no money. She wasn't from the rich upper echelons family. But look at her now. Even that man who you're writing off because maybe it don't look like he's working a regular 9 to 5. You don't know what he's doing when he get off work. He could be working on his dream, on his vision of becoming. Maybe you don't know what it is. He may start his own business. He may be an inventor. He may hit the lottery and come into something. You didn't want me. Or you didn't want me then. Don't want me now. Don't want me now. And when you do come up into something, the people who didn't want you then act like you don't know them now. Don't let nobody use and mistreat you. Know your value, know your worth. And you know what? Men and women are the prize. People are the prize. Everybody is a prize to somebody. We're all of great value. No human being is a piece of garbage. We all make mistakes. We all have, we're all are growing and learning. Nobody is perfect. We've all done things that we regret. If you got any type of conscience, you got some regrets because we're human and we're not perfect, and we all make mistakes, and we're living and we're learning and we're growing along the way. You know what I mean? But let's look at each person as somebody of value. And if you don't have to want everybody. There's nothing wrong with that. But that don't mean just don't use them or misuse them or mistreat them or abuse them, because you don't want nobody to do that to you. That's why so many people are so bitter. People are so bitter because of what somebody did to them, and now everybody else got to pay for it. You're so bitter. Then when somebody do come along who really care about you, you mess it up. You sabotage it because of what some creep did to you. You don't want to call them creep, but what somebody done to you, mistreated you, misused you, took your love and your affection for granted. But when you really look back, because 2020 is, look back and think on it. There was red flags. You knew that person was using you. You thought you could change somebody. You thought you could make somebody want you who didn't want you. And when you seen that you couldn't do that, and now they didn't use you, and then they dumped you too, you're hurt. You're bitter, or you love somebody. You was in love with this woman. Now come to find out you ain't even the father, or whatever the case may be. It could be a million and one things. But also, I've honestly seen people who, and I ain't gonna lie, I've seen people who did everything right. Nobody's perfect, but they did right by that person they was with, because they was in love with somebody who wasn't in love with them back. And the person just, how could you see that somebody care about you and you just dog them? Just totally just take them for granted. Just use them until they're just ain't, just damn near use them to the point where it's just like, damn, you shouldn't even do that to your worst enemy. This is a person that love you, and you're just dogging them, mistreating them, misusing them, taking advantage of them. Just take, till there just ain't nothing left. And you can just sleep well at night. But you know what? Every man will reap what he sows. It's just universal law. So, we all play the fool. Everybody gets a turn. But all we got to do is just wake up and pay attention. Don't let loneliness beat you either. Don't just be with somebody just so you're not alone. Sometimes it's better to be alone than to be with the wrong person. You know what I mean? It's better to be alone than to be with the wrong person. But let's just reevaluate when we put somebody in a friend zone, while we're putting them in a friend zone. And we can also evaluate, like, when that person you might think, like, you know what? Why not give them a chance? Really, when you think about it, what do you have to lose? You can try to give them a chance to see how it goes, and if it don't work out, then hey, But It's always, I hate to say this, maybe I was going to, this would have been a true treasure, but I'm going to keep it to myself. I'm going to keep it to myself because um, sometimes even something good can be used in the wrong way if a person's heart ain't right. If people's motives aren't right, people's intentions aren't good, and they can take something good and it can be used wrong and hurt people, even though you may have said it for a different reason. So I'll just keep that one to myself. People will eventually figure it out on their own. So I just want to thank you guys for y'all's time. Um, just remember that you are valuable and don't settle for nothing less than what you truly deserve. You know, sometimes the person you want don't always want you. So I hope that everybody could find somebody, or, be blessed with someone that will love them as much as they love that other person. That's what we all truly deserve. And to, women, remember to respect your man. And men, remember to love your women. And, we all need to learn to listen. You have to listen and be observant. When you care about somebody, you pay attention. You know what they like and what they dislike. You know what I mean? It ain't when you're in a relationship, it's about the we and the us. It's not about the me, myself, and I. Somebody who's selfish with that type of attitude, if you have that type of attitude, it's just best to be single. It's best to be by yourself, because a relationship, you know, consists of two people with mutual respect and love for one another. So just remember that, you guys. I wish everybody the best. Bye bye.